Hello and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Pattaya, Pattaya Channel's very own breakfast show. I'm your host, Nick Pendrell, and joining me again after a little absence is Mr. Dave D.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Feeling a little bit under the weather today, Nick, but of course I've strove and I'm out there for you
true
today.
Professional.
A true professional. Trooping on today.
Excuse Dave if he dies halfway through the interview, but it's all for art.
It's all for heart.
And our guest today is Alistair from London Office Asia. Welcome to the show, Alistair.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Alistair.
Thank you.
So, London Office Asia, what is that?
That's a good question.
I always come up
Have
with
we
good
got
questions.
2 hours?
No, we've got 15 minutes. So give me the synopsis.
Right. Basically, we provide address services for mainly expats who need to keep a permanent address in the UK whilst either living, working or travelling through Asia for important mail documents. Keeping an address in the UK is always helpful.
Sure.
And the other part of the business is providing office services, office address, telephone answering for small businesses, startups, that sort of thing. We have many offices in London, and also here in Pattaya and Bangkok, and also Hong Kong, and we've got other offices coming up very soon.
Wow. So you've got several offices to choose from. So.
Indeed, yes.
And are they in some posh places?
Some of them are.
Some of them are. Okay.
Normal working offices mainly.
Right.
We're not the large corporate giants that obviously I shouldn't mention here because they're given free advertising. They don't need it. But, we provide a straightforward virtual office service for these companies.
Is this like, Alistair, is this like guys that are on the move around the world that basically are working all the time and have not got residence in the UK?
Indeed, yeah.
And I mean, what is that? I mean, is that sort of like you've got a secretary service there for them that can answer calls, take calls?
Yeah, we can handle their telephone calls. We can take messages or transfer the call to them wherever they may be worldwide.
And what about sort of the mailing service side of it? Is it just that they've got a base really for their mail to come to?
They have a base for their mail. They can have it either forwarded securely weekly by courier to Asia, whichever office it's going to, or they can have it scanned and emailed to them so they get it quickly, or we can upload it to the web so that they can view any documents anytime.
So it's a bit more. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like a secure secretary, isn't it? You know, it takes care of you.
Although secretarial services, as was, no longer required in this day and age.
No.
The days of typing up the letters and all this all gone.
So money penny's out then.
I'm afraid so. Yeah, totally out. Well, I don't know. I mean, she can sit on my knee and take messages. Yeah.
So what kind of costs are involved for somebody who wanted to take advantage of your service?
Oh, major. No. It starts off for the expat service, which we discussed is £10 or 500 baht a month.
Is that all?
Well, it's cost effective.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. It does go up depending on your
requirements,
locations,
obviously,
etc. And with telephone answering from the UK, it can be £30 a month or 1,500 baht a month, but that's comprehensive. Call forwarding services, etc.
And how long has the business been going?
Here, 3 months.
3 months.
Back in UK, I started it in 1996.
Good grief.
From my own house. I was a virtual office then. And then it got too big and I had to move into offices. And, we have partner companies throughout London and indeed, other locations in the world. So we help each other to provide the services that we offer.
That's excellent. And how long have you been personally in Pattaya?
I came on a holiday over
that
Christmas and
story
New Year.
before.
Yes,
Sounds familiar.
I came for 2 weeks, extended it for a month. Thought, yes, I can do things here. I went back, sorted all my affairs, came straight back over, and here I am again.
Well, I guess that's the advantage of being in a virtual business, that
Yes,
you
indeed,
personally
yeah.
can be virtually anywhere.
I could be on the beach. Why are we
Why
on
are you
the
on the
beach?
beach?
The guys actually come when they come back. Do they actually come to your office, say, to pick up their mail, or is it delivered to?
They can have the mail picked up, just walk in the office, or we forward within Asia to wherever they're located. So.
I mean, what about sort of guys that were in the UK and the national insurance and stuff like that? I mean, can they keep that going on that kind of basis?
National insurance, I'm not sure of, to be honest. Things like pension, etc. But there is the top-up problems that you may require. But keeping a bank account in the UK is helpful for many things. And just to receive important mail from, if you are doing business and you are traveling, at one point to have all your mail located and you can see it instantly and respond to it instantly is obviously,
And also, I mean, also the thing as well, Alistair, is, of course, people don't just live in the same house forever, do they? I mean, they move from house to house to house.
More and more these days
more and
as
more.
well, yeah.
So, I mean, sort of being on the move around the world as a business guy and just having one point of, collection and
it's a permanent point.
It's a good service, isn't it?
It can be your personal address, it can be your business address. It's entirely...
Plus, it sounds posh. It does sound posh, doesn't
It does, yes.
Forward it to my secretary. I like that. For £10, I can have some of that.
We have some posh addresses as well in Mayfair, So.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, I was going to say
that. Just sounds very grand to have a Mayfair office.
Our head office located in Wimbledon, and of course...
It's another nice part of London, yeah.
Oh, indeed. And we have offices in central London as well, Marylebone and Old Gloucester Street.
Why do you think it took off, Alistair? I mean, you say you started it from your house. I mean, a lot of people like Microsoft, blah blah blah, started in the garage. I mean, you started in your house, doing what you want. I mean, did you ever think it would take off, or why did you start it? Though? I mean, what was the reason behind it?
I was in the NHS and decided to become a letting agent. It didn't work. So I provided office services for people, a lot of secretarial work involved then, etc. But there was a growing need. Even in 1996, virtual offices, although in its infancy, a steady growth, and nowadays there's no need to have a fixed office address with the overheads of staff, etc., all the inherent costs. And people, especially because the economy in the UK, they may be losing their jobs or they want to try something new. But to actually put all the money into starting a business is very, very costly. And it just allows people to start up, see how it goes, and essentially they end up having their own locations, etc. Or they keep us, still providing the address as an alternative address to their fixed location as and when they do. But expats have been using the service for many years anyway. We've had thousands of customers throughout all areas in the world actually using our services. And the ideal thing is to actually base here and actually provide a service on the ground, as it were, for these people and make it even more beneficial.
How many people are using your service sort of personally versus how many people are running sort of a virtual business that looks like it's based out of one of your offices?
It's about 35% personal and the rest business.
So still today, most of them are sort of...
Because we're doing a pure expat service here, though, that should, I would imagine, it be in the 50 to 60%.
Yes,
at least. Yes, yes. especially in areas where expats congregate.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can definitely see from a business point of view how good it is, because, as you were saying, in the internet age, you really don't need a physical address.
No,
but
sure.
when people are dealing with companies on the internet, they can be a little bit nervous about dealing. You can't put address no fixed abode, because it just sounds a little bit dodgy.
Well, it's quite funny. When I first started, I was one of the first virtual office providers on the internet.
Right.
And used to get visits to my house, and they were expecting to see their customers in grand offices. And it was a bit embarrassing to say, well, actually, they are not here. We're providing a virtual office service. And they're shocked and amazed. But
that was in the early days.
Oh, absolutely.
Now they're real offices. So if I accidentally went to the offices of one of the companies that say they're offering from Mayfair, there would be a secretary and somebody there.
Oh, yes. Receptionist would just tell the customer, unfortunately, the person you're looking for is not here at the moment. Leave your details and we'll get them to contact you.
Yeah.
And of course, there's things like they can meeting rooms, they can meet up with clients at the addresses, etc., or even rent desk space for a day, a week, a month.
I was going to say that. Could the actual client meet the customers there and actually sit?
It depends on the actual office, but it does vary from just maybe sitting in a normal office or full conference room facilities. So you can have 20, 30 people, and you have video conferencing and this sort of thing. So they can have meetings virtually with other companies throughout the world at the same time. So
it's a good idea, because the average businessman who's probably working for himself anyway doesn't spend that much time in an office. They're mainly out on the road or traveling.
Many tradesmen do use our services.
I can see that.
We've talked about your infrastructure in London and some other key cities. Do you have anything in Pattaya?
In terms of...
virtual office or somewhere that you could turn up?
Yes. We're on Thapria Road in the View Tally 2 on the ground floor. I've actually negotiated, in the midst of negotiating other provided office space services for people at the different locations. So that will extend. In Bangkok, we're organising several addresses in Bangkok.
Right.
Mainly for the business customer, and say in Hong Kong, which we've just taken on board now. So there's many opportunities for people wishing to do business in Hong Kong, and my next one will be Singapore, and that should be available next month.
Right, so you are busy.
Is this on supply and demand then? It must be, because if you're going to Hong Kong, you don't just say I'm going to Hong Kong, and you don't just say I'm going to Singapore. There must be a supply and demand for what you're doing.
There is. These are hubs for business services recognised worldwide, in the same way as London is.
Sure.
Kuala Lumpur is another case in point. They're all hubs of business, and for people to be able to become part of that structure, they need an address in these particular cities.
That's a good idea, Nick. We should have done all that years ago.
Just might
all the running
solve
backwards
so
and
many
forwards
problems.
we did, all them secretaries we had to implement.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So tell us how we can find you online. How can the process?
We're on the UK website. It's londonoffice.co.uk/Asia.
londonoffice.co.uk/Asia.
Here there's londonofficeasia.com or londonoffice.asia. And on Facebook it's facebook.com London Office Asia.
London Office Asia. So that's what to look for on everything. And that gives all the information about your services, your prices, and everything.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. It sounds like you're providing a well-needed service for Pattaya. So I wish you
many
best
people
of
have
luck.
said it's what they look for. So.
Thank you very much for coming and joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon in part 2.
Thank you.